Cool93 here, and we are live here on Twitch. We are going to be doing the interview today with Bobby Wasabi. Let me go ahead and get this in there for you guys. Nope, wrong one. There it is. So, I'm just gonna have the audio pulled up. You can see, but so while I get the shares going, Bobby, do you want to go ahead and tell them a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, buddy. Can you hear me? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm Bobby Wasabi. I'm a pro wrestler out of Raleigh, North Carolina. I made my debut a couple months ago, training out of Firestar Pro Wrestling. Before that, I was a Muay Thai and a kickboxing fighter. I had 15 fights. And now I'm kind of combining the two and living my dream and being a pro wrestler.
Heck yeah, man. So I'm getting the shares going a little bit. But so how was everything with the filming yesterday? I know you probably can't go into a lot of details, but what was that like for you?
It was an awesome experience. I hadn't really done anything like regarding filming or anything like that before. So being on a set, seeing their super high-tech cameras and seeing them doing their thing, it was pretty sweet. It's a story. You can check out the Instagram chokehold. It's basically about a kid in the Midwest who wants to be a pro wrestler and training. It's basically like, I don't know, it seems like The Wrestler, but the beginning part.
Okay.
Nothing bad has happened yet. It's like aspiring.
Yeah. See, the reason why, so a lot of people, I don't really kind of throw this out there on Twitch a lot, but I actually did a little bit of acting. I worked in a haunted house for about 10 years, and then did about a little over 2 years when I was still living up in West Virginia doing some film work up there. So like when he told me that he was, doing that, and then they had offered him, a bigger spot, I'm like, dude, no, I completely understand that. And so it's like, it's one of them things where like, it's cool that not only do you got to film something, but you also got to get a little bit bigger of a role during the movie. And it's like, that's why I think that's cool. Hey, what's going on, 50 Shades? How we doing? Yeah, we got to get your phone fixed, man. But
yeah, it was sweet. It wasn't like I was doing anything crazy or even spoke, but you might see me jump over something or do some things. It was like the SpongeBob episode where you see his hands like in the commercial.
Ah.
But I'll be like an extra for stuff, and it'll still be cool. It'll be something I'll definitely show people.
Yeah, dude. Hey, like, so with me, I did a little bit of the background work on a show. It was called Outsiders. It filmed in Pittsburgh. But it was based out of Kentucky. I did like basically the summer of 2016 when I did a lot of stuff with them, and then towards like the middle of spring, roughly going into summer, I filmed another TV show with the same people, and it's a fun experience. Like, if you guys ever get the chance to like do it at least once in your life, I say go for it, because it's very fun. If that's something you guys are into. What's going on, Lucky Cap?
Seeing how tedious everything is was eye-opening.
Yeah.
They'd like film the same thing over and over. You'd think it was done, and they're like, all right, now we're going to do it with a different lens. Like, now we're going to film the same thing over from this way.
Yeah.
Just doing it over and over. Yeah, props to the main character. He's not a wrestler. He had to do a lot of wrestling stuff over and over again.
Yeah, and like for a lot of people who don't know, like taking like doing constant, like even if it was like just a bump or something, like even just that is like doing that over and over, like that's pretty taxing on your body.
Yeah, especially if you're not used to it. I mean, he like just from running the ropes, sometimes that you can see his back getting progressively redder, just like lines across the back. Just those first few days are pretty rough, especially if you don't come from a wrestling background or you don't even know. It was definitely an eye-opening day for him, I'm sure. But he took it like a champ.
Well, hey, that's good, man. So, for those of you who kind of have put it together, I met Bobby last month when I started training with Firestar Pro Wrestling, which is actually one of our amazing sponsors of the stream. They are the trainer for them is probably one of the best people that I've met, and he's not one of those people that's just going to take your money just to take your money. Like, he's going to be there, he's going to teach you the ropes, everything you need to know. So yeah, if you guys are interested in independent wrestling, definitely look them up. And then they also trained Bobby here, and like he said, he debuted this year. So I mean, it's pretty cool to not only have a place that I got to train for a little bit before my knee gave out, but also meet someone as cool as Bobby, and just to kind of like get his story out there. Like that's what I'm excited about.
Well, I appreciate it, man. Yeah, I hope your knee heals up soon.
Yeah, I gotta
cutting some promos on some people in the meantime.
Yeah, what I've been doing is I was looking up people, well, an orthopedic, because when I went to the emergency room when they told me that I strained one of my bands, I was just like, okay, and then I was like, if it persists, then you definitely gotta go do other stuff. So I was just like, okay, so it's orthopedic time. But yeah, so
yeah, that's always rough.
Yeah. But
I mean, take that step, but you'll live. You'll get well. You'll be back in there.
So where did I? There we are. Okay. So like Bobby said, he's he's got a background with Muay Thai and kickboxing. He's a 3-time champion, 15-win record. And he transitioned into a little bit of not a little bit, but he transitioned into professional wrestling. So what got you into MMA? Like the Muay Thai and stuff like that.
I've been a fan probably since high school, and then later in life, I was in like my mid-20s. I didn't really play a ton of sports growing up. I played baseball when I was 15-ish. But other than that, I didn't do a whole ton. I didn't work out a whole ton. I ended up finding martial arts. I wanted to try it a while, and I never did. And then one day, one of my good friends hit me up, and he was trying to go to this gym that I could kind of tell was what we call a McDojo, like a not so good gym. And I was like, no, we gotta go to 8 Points. We gotta go to this Muay Thai gym. I knew it was the gym. I had friends there, so we went there, and then it was awesome. I went there for like 2 days, and then I went to a metal festival that weekend. It was the Summer Slaughter tour. It was in Winston-Salem, Ziggy's. And I was there, I was in a mosh pit, and I got pushed from behind, I fell forward, I broke my wrist.
Ooh.
So, one of the casts, it's like soft cast and a hard cast for a total like a couple months.
Oh, wow.
So I would like go Muay Thai every day, and all I could do was kick at knee. That's probably why I enjoy it. And I could elbow a little bit too,
Yeah.
So I would just like kick, and I would just knee over and over. My cast would get all soggy and gross. It would stay that way, and like this odd dampness that was not fun to deal with for like 24 hours, and then I'd go get it all again. But yeah, so that's where love really developed. It was like after a breakup one summer, and I was like, take my mind off some crap. So yeah, I just went from there and had a fight like 9 months after that, 10 months after that, and went from there.
Okay. So there's a little for the people that are in here. I had something. I made something for this. And looking at it, I can't tell if you guys can see it because my screen's a little bit smaller. But as you can see, I've got the day in the life of, and then it's hosted by me, special guest Bobby. So whenever I do these little a day in the life of, I'm gonna keep the caption at the bottom so that way you guys can see who we're on with, and then it's just something cool to have at the bottom. But I didn't realize that it was kind of small when looking at it. But Lucky Cap, how are we doing? 50 Shades, I see you. Those are our moderators tonight. And then it looks like we've got Scotty Main. What is going on, bro? How we doing? Welcome into the stream. So I guess what year did you start kickboxing, and did you transition it into Muay Thai, or was it Muay Thai into kickboxing more?
I mean, I'll still go back and forth with both. The rule sets, I mean, there are two different sports as far as, they just have like, they're striking, but they have different rule sets. But sometimes it's just kind of wherever you can get fights. Or, alright, somebody wants to fight, they're only going to do kickboxing rules. It's like, alright, cool. Like, if I had my way, I'd do Muay Thai rules all the time. I love throwing elbows, I love clinching, but, it is what it is. I can fight kickboxing rules too. But yeah, I got in, originally probably wanting to do MMA, and then, I was kind of falling in love with Muay Thai, and I was at a Muay Thai gym. Was just enjoying it more, and just went from there. And now I actually probably do more, not more jiu-jitsu, but I've been rolling a little bit more lately than doing Muay Thai, ironically. But yeah, it is kind of, I don't know, that's just where my heart took me more, and started busting out Muay Thai fights.
Heck yeah, man.
And that was 2015.
2000.
That I started. Like August 2015 is my Muay Thai anniversary.
Okay. So what would you say the difference is between professional wrestling aspect of things and then the MMA, kickboxing, stuff like that? Is there a difference? Is it about the same, or?
It's been different for me just because the grinds have been different. Like my Muay Thai gym, I got to train a lot more there than I do wrestling just because Firestar is an hour and a half for me, so it's not like I wanted to go today. Just ended up getting to working. I was out of work yesterday filming, so I was catching up on stuff. Ended up getting to be like 6 o'clock, their class ends at 8, so sometimes it just didn't happen like that. And I'll watch like wrestling during lunch, like thinking of promos and stuff like that, but it's harder to get in-ring reps like I want to. And I know there's dudes at NXT that are like 6'5" football players that are just doing it 9 to 5 Monday through Friday, So
yeah.
I try to just get into work whenever I can. And then, the flip side of that, like, they're both different. Like, Muay Thai and, martial arts, MMA, training in general, fight camp training in general, everybody knows, they can be grueling. And wrestling training can be grueling too.
Yeah.
It can also be grueling in a different way. It can be grueling. So a lot of it sometimes in the moment, I feel like wrestling matches is the same with fighting. Like in the moment, I'm just like, whatever. You just feel it. You feel it after. But in, wrestling training, it can be more like just trying to remember what I'm trying to do, and it's a physical thing. It becomes like this weird drill where you have to like do these physical acrobatic drills while also trying to remember certain sequences and things like that, and you're getting more tired, and then you keep having to do it, and that makes it harder, and it's and then throwing whenever it's happening in front of hundreds of people.
Yeah.
so it exacerbates things.
So,
The
oh, my bad.
yeah, oh, you're good, man. And it's also just been different. Most of the time for fights, so fight camp, you have weeks building up to it. And wrestling, it could be, I've wrestled like twice Saturday.
Oh, wow.
But it's still always a thrill whenever you get to walk out in front of people and do your thing. So it has been more gratifying that way, like getting to have that every on more consistently.
So, I don't know, for those of you who are kind of here, Scotty Main is actually another person that I met over at Firestar. We actually started training the same day, so welcome in, man. Thanks for tuning in. I appreciate you. I'm sure Bobby appreciates it. Because I mean,
What's up, Scotty?
I don't know if you've gotten to do like a lot of interviews, but it's like it's one of them things where it's like I think it's cool to like get whether or not it's like if you're streaming and if I can link the Twitch, but it's like Bobby isn't on Twitch as far as I'm aware. So what I went ahead and did is I've actually got Bobby's Instagram. So if you're wanting to keep up to date after this interview, if you go to Instagram.com/Bobby Wasabi Wrestling, you can stay up to date on everything that he's doing, whether that be training with his Muay Thai, kickboxing, stuff like that, professional wrestling stuff, promos, all of that good things. You can keep up to date with that. But yeah, so
you can buy my shirts on there now too.
Oh, can you? Okay, see, I was trying. That's actually what I was trying to find is that like your merch link and then also your Instagram. I could only find the Instagram link. So
if you look at my Instagram and you see the Wasabi logo posted, there's a link to it in there. I think it's in my bio too.
It's in your bio. Let's see. I'm gonna link that right down below real quick. I just gotta find.
Oh no, I lied. I changed it to my pay-per-view link, which they didn't even end up doing.
Oh, what? So this.
I know, yeah, they ended up doing it for free. Well, good. I gotta change it now. So if you get a badge of honor, you'll be able to find it. Actually, I'll change it.
You said badge of honor?
Y'all can just go to the link in my bio and you'll be able to buy the shirts there.
But yeah, no, so that's actually, I'm going to go ahead just for the people to kind of see what it looks like.
Oh, nice. Thank you.
Which I think it is a pretty dope logo, actually. And
Thank you, sir. I was trying to have something that you could wear even. Well, it was originally I sold these shirts for my fights.
Yeah.
Like 5 years ago, but I was hoping to have something you could wear even if you didn't like wrestling or fighting or anything.
Yeah.
I just thought it looked cool.
So there you go, guys. That's what the Bobby Wasabi shirt looks like. If you do want to get it, it's showing that you can go to the Badge of Honor website. It's linked into his the comment section of it. But yeah, and then here, I exited out. Okay. Bam, there we go. So here's a little still of, it looks like it was you from, it's the Slow Heavy Metal. Is that when you were facing Tim?
Yes.
Just the look in the face, it tells it all. They say professional wrestling is storytelling, and it looks like in this y'all just were going to war. And I think it's a really cool look. And for those of you, but yeah, check out Bobby Wasabi on Instagram.
Yeah, I can't wait till that match is posted. I'll post that whenever I can get that, because that was pretty sweet. When you get to wrestle something like Tim, or someone like Tim, he's very experienced. He's the head trainer at A&L, in Winston-Salem. He's like basically their LeBron, you know.
Yeah.
And it was to get to wrestle him, and it was like my sixth match. I mean, I know a lot of people want to wrestle him, and I thought we had a great match at the first ring of sport. Had to establish a rule set and everything. So I was super proud of that.
Also, welcome into the chat. We got Hulkamaniac and we've got Prince Truth. We're doing a day in the life of. My guest today is Bobby Wasabi. So another question I got for you: have you always been into wrestling, or was it just something you kind of wanted to do?
Yeah, I've always been a wrestling fan since it was like spring and summer of 1998, like a Harder Attitude era. I was a big Sting fan. I was a really big Stone Cold fan. Like my first memory of wrestling is Austin McMahon and Stone Cold going to face Austin and Raw, and then Dude Love coming out. I distinctly remember that. I remember being on my living room and watching Sting join the NWO.
Oh yeah, that was big for WCW, because Sting had always been like the super baby face, super over, and for him to join a group like NWO, like it was the tipping point, because it's like everybody who was in the know.
Yeah, look at that now. Looking at that, I was a bunch of stuff. Like, they shouldn't have done that, but
yeah,
at the time I was like, "What? This is cool." So yeah, I remember that, and yeah, just have always been a huge fan since I was a kid, and I mean, wanted to do it a lot earlier than I did, but just kind of didn't have like as much motivation early in life. Just wasn't really, wasn't really trying to do the things I really needed to do to make those things happen. Once I found martial arts, that kind of put me on that path where I can get my stuff together, and dedicate myself like I am now to wrestling. So it all worked out.
Well, that's awesome. So while we're here, I want to give a quick little shout out to one of our other amazing sponsors, Studio 43. They, of course, did my logos, banners, and some of the graphics that I've got on my streams. If you're looking to get any logos done, whether that be, for merchandise, anything, like if you're doing conventions, promo, photo, stuff like that, they can, make you a cool little graphic. Or if you just need a logo, they're pretty good. He's got a background in graphic design, so he does this for his job. You can follow the link at studio43pd.com. So just to kind of touch base on this, when did you actually debut for wrestling, and what was the company you debuted for?
I debuted for Firestar, and that day, I think it was March 5th. Yeah, it was March 5th of this year. And yeah, shout out to Firestar, like you were mentioning earlier. Rob's a great dude. I'm quickly finding out in the wrestling business that, in the sport industry, whatever you want to call it, that Firestar is a pretty special place. In terms of having a training facility like we do, and then also a place to be able to run shows and experience quickly, and also having a trainer like LeBron, who's super big on fundamentals.
Yeah.
Who's coming across people, oh, hey, where do you train? Firestar? Like, oh yeah, I can tell. Like, you do fundamentals, like you'll hear that. And then also you start to see some rinky-dink places and some rinky-dink wrestlers. You start being like, oh, okay, I'm pretty fortunate to be where I am and to be wrestling people like Jay Malachi. That's who I debuted against.
Oh, Jay Malachi is such a great wrestler.
Like that.
And not a lot. I didn't even know this, because I actually found Jay Malachi watching Deadlock Pro Wrestling, which is based in the Raleigh area.
Yes. I actually just helped set up their show this past weekend. They were a great group over there. It was a super cool group of just their crew and the wrestlers, and then also being in the shows. It's always an awesome vibe.
Yeah, but Like, and I just found this out. He's just now 18. Like, I thought he was like
Yeah,
early 20s, but like he literally
yeah, he's
just
been
turned
wrestling
18 like in
since he was
May.
like 13. You'll see pictures of him. He looks super young. Him and Jackson.
Yeah, like them two
Like I
both
don't know
started
the
early, and just like, and they were
yeah
also trained by LeBron.
the
Just like,
wrestling prodigies.
yeah, like if you guys haven't heard of Jay Malachi or Jackson Drake, look them up on YouTube. Uh, I actually got to see
Yeah,
Jackson wrestle uh, May the 8th when I was helping out with the Firestar event, um, and just an amazing talent like that. I'm not just saying that just because that's a place that I've gone and I've trained a little bit before the knee, but like some of the like Firestar puts out amazing people. Like if you watch AEW, he trained Griff Garrison. He trained Marcus Cross, and I can't remember who else
yeah, Marcus Cross.
there was one other person he's trained that's like featured pretty heavily on AEW.
We have there's Duke O'Connor now. Duke's been so Duke and Jackson and Jay have been wrestling with CZW a lot lately. Um, a lot of great young guys there. And Malachi, like, so really when I first started training, he'd be teaching the intermediate class, and like his mom would be dropping him off after basketball classes. And I was like, what? Like, how are you already this good? Still in high school, sir.
Yeah, like it's crazy to think because it's like most places you can be 16 and start wrestling as long as you've got parents' consent, and like it's one of them things. Like some states have it, some states they don't. You got to be 18. But like if you look at people like Rey Mysterio, started wrestling at 13. Like, if you
I don't know if.
what's up?
Go ahead. So,
No, go ahead.
I was just saying, yeah, I don't know. I mean, obviously, I'm new to the wrestling business. I've always done this way, but I seem to just be coming across a lot of people, and they're like, yeah, they'll, like, just for being at seminars and stuff. Like, for instance, before the DPW show, there was a Chris Hero seminar. And he had done a seminar at Firestar and actually taught some classes at Firestar, too. I hope he comes back. So they're great. And his seminar was only talking. It's going around and asking everybody, how they got into wrestling, what their story is, a little bit about themselves, and then you go back around and ask them what their biggest strength is, what their biggest weakness is, and that'll kind of just divulge into 3 or 4 hours worth of talking. And from talking to everybody, there was so many people that like. I was 22, and he was like, yeah, someone when I was in 13 or 14, wrestled like 4 years, took some time off for school, and now like I'm back. I'm like, dang, dude, you done lived a whole life. Like, it's crazy. Like, I'm wondering. I mean, people are just gonna keep getting better and better. It's gonna keep getting more competitive and more competitive.
Yeah, and
People are
like
gonna be doing triple flips off the top rope and stuff.
so I started working in the wrestling industry when I was roughly about 17. So like I set up the ring even before that. Like I set up the ring. I'd work security. I'd help work like I was a ring announcer for about a year and a half.
Nice.
Backstage cameraman. Stuff like that. So it's like I was doing the stuff.
That's what's up.
And like when I wanted to start training, the company that I was working with never had a school. So like the nearest one that I would have had to go to was in Pittsburgh, PA. It's Pro Wrestling Express. It's where Kurt Angle actually got to train. Like they can honestly say that they got to train Kurt Angle. But I didn't drive. I don't drive, and I didn't drive back then, and it was 45 minutes. I'm like, well, I don't have the ride. I'm not gonna have my mom go to take me drive 45 minutes, be there for anywhere from 2 to 3 hours just to drive another 45 minutes. So like, and then when I started like slowly getting out of it is when they started getting to school, and I'm like, well, I'm 23 at this point when I stopped going up there, and it's one of them things where it's like, imagine if I would have been able to train, because it's like one of the guys that wrestled for this place. He wrestled for Ring of Honor for a bit. Chris LaRusso, and that if you guys ever get to talk, like if you ever get a chance to sit down and talk with Chris LaRusso, like he's someone who's got a great wrestling mind, psychology, and all of that. But I want to give a quick shout out to another sponsor. We've got DJ Marvalensi. Goes by DJ Marvalensi. Your new favorite DJ. If you're looking to get, he's been doing it for a while. I met him working the convention scene. If you're needing anyone for parties, wedding receptions, conventions, anything like that, hit him up right there on Instagram. It's Instagram.com/DJ Marvalensi. And just, he's also here on Twitch, DJ Marvalensi, if you want to give him a shout out. But back with Bobby. Who was someone you looked up to in wrestling, and who's your Mount Rushmore of wrestling? If you would have to.
Someone, I would say people like Bryan Danielson, John Moxley are people I look up to in pro wrestling. Danielson, I don't know, he's just kind of doing things his own way. He's been great for like 20 years. He's not a huge guy, so I has respect for the business. Moxley just, he just kind of is the type of wrestler I want to be, Kind of just has that like realism about him. Growing up, Stone Cold was definitely my favorite wrestler, and then more so, my teenage years, I was a huge CM Punk fan.
Oh.
Really from like 12 or 13 to, really until he left WWE, but I was definitely a CM Punk guy. He was, somebody that like, would just watch like every video you could find on him, like downloading Punk videos and LimeWire and things like that.
LimeWire. Oh.
So yeah, those have been like kind of my main people as far as like I watch Danielson matches all the time now, like as far as entertainment and just to study. And before that, Punk, and then still always Austin. Austin's still number one.
Oh yeah, like because that.
I went to WrestleMania this year. Like, once I was pretty sure he was going to be there, at least kicking somebody's ass. I know he was going to be wrestling. I was pretty hyped when that happened. I just like flew out there on a week's notice with my buddies. It was an awesome time. He's my dude.
I bet you that wasn't a cheap plane ticket, because I've looked into getting.
Not at all.
Especially like a week before it, I'm like, whew. Because it's like just looking to go out to. Because I lived in Texas for a bit with my roommate, and looking at trying to just fly out there from Charlotte, it's like over $1,000. I'm like, oh my lord. I'm like, I'm good on that.
Yeah, it wasn't quite that much, but it wasn't cheap. But it was, and then getting the Airbnb and all that, yeah.
Yeah.
And they don't have public transit there, so you have to Uber everywhere. But I believe it out of money bills worth it.
I bet.
Being even not even just WrestleMania, being able to go to shows like all day Thursday, all day Friday, going to Game Changer shows, going to WrestleCon shows. It was so fun.
Yeah, if I ever get a chance.
As far as,
go ahead.
I was just saying my Mount Rushmore.
Oh.
Hey, what are you gonna say if you get a chance to go to WrestleMania?
Yeah, if I ever get a chance to go to WrestleMania, like I'm getting like the WrestleMania Access Pass. Like I'm doing everything that it has to offer. It's between that or going to Chris Jericho's Rock and Wave or whatever it's called.
Rock and Rage.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it would be one of those two. I should have gone to the first one. Now it's the fourth. I feel like that. Like, I mean, if you imagine going like when Omega and and Moxley won the tag titles. That would have been great.
Oh,
Now,
you mean Hangman and Kenny?
oh yeah, Hangman and Kenny won.
Was
Yeah,
that?
that would have been great. Now they're not doing as many cool. I'm guessing logistically filming at sea sucks.
Yeah.
So they're not doing it right now, but that would have been awesome to be at. As far as my Mount Rushmore in wrestling stuff, but it's got to be Flair, Hogan, and like Austin Rock, right? I guess.
Yeah.
Those like the four biggest. You could say. I mean, you could replace one. I think you have to include either Austin or Rock. Probably Austin though, because he like ushered in the Attitude Era.
Yeah, because he
Even
was.
if you wanted to make an argument, Rock was bigger, but like Austin made it so that Rock could be bigger. I feel. And then I mean, Hogan I think has to be in there. Like Flair kind of has to be in there, and then be like maybe Lou Thesz though,
Yeah.
or San Martino, or a lot you could put in there. Like four is tough.
Yeah, because it's like if you think about it. Ooh. So like, I agree with the Stone Cold and Rock just because it's like if you think about it, they were the two biggest in the Attitude Era. That was that era that I grew up, and like Ric Flair is definitely up there. Now I wouldn't put Hogan just because he was. I just wasn't a big Hogan fan. I would probably put Flair, Rock, Stone Cold, and I'd probably Bret Hart.
Is that your personal Rushmore or your all time, or like your
That'd be my all time.
like objective?
That'd be like probably.
That's not my personal all time. That's what I think like historically. If I was like a wrestling historian, who I would put. My personal Rushmore is a little bit different. I don't know if it would be those four I mentioned earlier. It'd be a little bit different. I think historically you can't not have Hogan.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because Hogan did kind of.
Maybe without Hogan, maybe WWF might not have that foundation, so that there can be an Attitude Era or a Monday Night Wars.
Yeah.
Hogan.
Yeah, I'll give you that one. I didn't think about it that way. Because he did kind of put WWF on the map.
Yeah, I think historically in terms of all-time draws, and just like changing the business, him. But yeah, San Martino too. You could argue guys from the 1920s.
Oh.
We could talk here all day about wrestling history though. Farmer Burns, he should be on there.
See, I don't even know who that is. No,
they were the OGs.
Okay. So, where do you? Another question I got for you. Where do you see your Muay Thai / wrestling career being in like 5 years' time?
Man, in 5 years, shit, I hope I'm in AEW. I mean, that's the plan. I'm trying to put as much time into this as I can, and as far as my goals, I kind of feel like I have international confidence in terms of what I want to do and when I want to do it, but I feel like you kind of need that to do this. And it's also a thing where I'm usually pretty level-headed about something, so if I'm really feeling like I'm able to do something, like I'm going to go for it. I kind of made this switch because I feel like I can do more in the wrestling world than I could in Muay Thai or I could in MMA, at this point at least. And is, something that, it's like that combined with the fact that, it always been a passion for me and something in the back of my head, and I kind of got to the point where I felt like I had to do it now. So yeah, man, I feel like I'm hoping AEW, but I feel like you should at least be seeing me wrestle on TV somewhere by that point. Not much sooner.
Yeah, no, because it's like I've got to see him, and just for him only being wrestling since March, like Bobby can go. Like I said, I got to see him wrestle the triple threat match, wasn't it? Was
against Don and James Johnson. He had a
Yeah,
triple threat.
yeah. That was a
Yes.
pretty good match, and I've seen some of the stuff that you've posted through like TikTok and like Instagram and stuff, and like just from like what I've seen through some of that, like Bobby can go. You definitely should check him out. Like he's on.
Yeah, I've got some of my full matches now too. I mean, I'm about to get my YouTube page up. I'll post those on there.
Oh, so where before we kind of, I've got maybe I got two, three more questions. Just real quick, where are some places that they can find you on the internet?
So I'm on Instagram at Bobby Wasabi Wrestling. I am on. I'm actually about to pull up my YouTube name now because it's not in existence yet, but
Oh,
it shall be. Um, and then I'm on TikTok as Bobby Wasabi PW. Um, you can find me on. I have a Facebook channel at Bobby Wasabi. Um, and if you put in Bobby Wasabi on YouTube, you'll be able to find me there once I'm up and running. And make sure I told you the right TikTok. Need to get better at this. So I can just. I hear people on on podcasts like, yeah, catch me here, 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 and it's like throwing out their tags one after another.
yeah,
Bobby Wasabi Wrestling TikTok.
Bobby Wasabi. All right, but yeah, no, like it was so like I started following you on Instagram, and like later on that night you followed me on TikTok. I'm like, I didn't even think about my TikTok because it's like I don't do a lot on TikTok, and I'm just like it's one of them things that where like I get some like clips from like my Twitch streams, and like I post them on there, but it's like sometimes I just be like, why do I have a TikTok? Like I'm hardly ever on it, but like I've got a
I
couple.
only have it for promotional purposes. I didn't have one before, and I don't know. I mean, the stuff still gets like 1,000 views or something. I'm like, hey, it's like 1,000 people that probably didn't see me before, saw me do some cool stuff. And then it's weird because like I feel like if you're only on there for certain videos, it knows. Like the algorithm's like, we're not going to show your video to anything. So I'll go through like liking various videos. I'm like, I feel like I'm just trying to appease some weird technological overlords.
Yeah. Ooh. So what do you think of Cody Rhodes wrestling at Hell in a Cell?
I'm torn. No pun intended. Not the front of his back, but I mean, it was like definitely ballsy as hell. I mean, props to him. I was super gutsy. Um, I don't know. I see there can be an argument to be made that it sets a bad precedent for people, but I don't know. I personally feel like everybody's their own person. You can either be like, hey, that's great, Cody. I'm not trying to do that.
Yeah.
Or maybe it motivates you to try to do it, and
So
if you want to do that, then you want to do that.
so for those of you,
are gonna end up being 18. They're grown people.
yeah, for those of you who like haven't seen it, this is what it looked like on Sunday. So from what I read, Cody partially tore it on Monday with when him and Seth Rollins brawled, and then he was working out on Friday, and he completely tore the rest of it off. And I'm thinking to myself, because like we had found out that he was injured, and I was looking back at it, I'm like, it can't be that bad if he's still gonna wrestle. And then like he took his jacket off and just purple, basically. It's this like if you look back at the Undertaker and Kane versus Triple H and Shawn Michaels, like Triple H gets slung into the corner and he goes up over and he completely tore his pec muscle off, and he finished the match. Cody did this on Friday, 2 days before this match and still said that he was going to go out and wrestle. To me, hands down, he, did what he wanted to do. He still won the match. He did a couple spots. He went through a table. But, like, just to do that, like, he had to have been in a lot of pain.
Oh, I'm sure it was crazy. And he also props him for his workout dedication.
Yeah.
Slight tear on Monday. Still gonna get that workout in on Friday, though, bro. Gotta get that pump in.
Yeah. And then just come.
Yeah, he. You could see like he was. Obviously trying to avoid losing him. He hit the cutter with the messed up arm. I don't know if he just like wasn't thinking about it. That's the side he usually does on, or what. And if he just knew it was gonna suck, but you could tell I was like, oh god.
Yeah.
And then I can't imagine dealing with that whole thing.
And then goes through a table.
So 2 days later, too, it was all stiff.
Yeah.
It was starting to get, like, less mobile.
And then comes out on Monday Night Raw and was like, oh, yeah, I'm still going to wrestle I'm still going to participate in the Money in the Bank. I'm like, dude, you've legit got a torn pec. You're still trying to do this, like, going into, like, a ladder match? Like, that's crazy.
That should be the new storyline. He's like in a wheelchair, on crutches. He's like, let's go.
But it's just that's. I just kind of wanted to bring that up because it's like as someone who's a wrestler, and I'm just like I'm thinking about that. Like a lot of people would not do that. Like if they got a torn pec, they'd be like,
oh, most people, yeah.
Yeah.
Most wrestlers, and that's. Yeah, I mean, I can't really remember anybody. Yeah, like you said, Triple H finished the match. You've seen people finish matches with that stuff, but not as much going into matches with injuries like that. There are some fighters going with like messed up ACLs and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I don't really get. I don't know. Whenever I hear like a torn ACL, I'm like, oh, I guess it's one of those things you can function on, but you have to get surgery on it.
Yeah.
So when I think of like a football player writhing in pain. So like, how do you fight on that?
It's not easy.
There's varying levels. Yeah.
Because like I had 2 knee surgeries. I tore my ACL in 7th grade playing football. So like from 7th grade till the time I turned 18, I didn't have surgery. So by the time I had my first surgery, I had not only just a completely torn ACL, I had a completely torn meniscus and MCL. So it's like I had a surgery, and they said where usually an ACL surgery, it puts you out for about 8 months to 12 months. You can come back sooner depending on your body and your rehabilitation. But I retore my knee like 2 months after my first knee surgery. So fast forward to December of that year, I get my second knee surgery. So it's like it's crazy to think like doing stuff like that. And like Bobby said, you can still walk on your knee if you've got a torn ACL. Like it hurts. But it's one of them things that's like, pushing through the pain sometimes and doing what you got to do. So
yeah, exactly, man. So adrenaline is a hell of a thing too.
Oh.
I hope you had a lot.
Yeah, because it's like I tore my when I was playing football, when I tore my ACL, it was like 4th quarter, like the beginning of the 4th, and I've been playing football since like 3rd grade. So like every year football was what I was doing, and then after it happened, I kind of laid there for a couple seconds, like I'm in pain, but I'm not in a lot of pain, and I just thought maybe it was just I felt the pop, and I was like, I can still get up and walk, and then I go and stand up, and just instantly my knee just buckles, and I go right back down. So I'm like,
oh no.
Yeah, so I'm like, oh, I'm seriously hurt. And just looking back at it, I'm like, I should have taken a lot better care of myself, especially after I tore when I had my first knee surgery. I look back at myself, I'm like, I probably should not have been working 2 months after the first surgery. But I need
Yeah,
to,
that can definitely be a thing. Coming back too early, that's a common mistake.
yep, and that's
But
exactly what.
living and learn, man.
Yeah, like if I could go back, there's a whole bunch of things that I would probably change, but you know, it also makes you kind of who you are, and you kind of learn to live with what the things you got to do and the things you can't do. Uh, so another question I got for you right now: who's your favorite MMA slash UFC fighter, if you have one?
Ooh, who would that be? Adesanya is an easy one to say.
Who is it?
Max Holloway too, but Israel Adesanya or Max Holloway, those are easy ones to say. But dang, they are so entertaining. Max Holloway, I think he might be. Well, thinking about it, I think him and Izzy are the two most skilled fighters in MMA today. Just like I love watching their fights and just their technique and everything. Um, so like yeah, I would say those two, and of course in MMA overall, my dude Adley Edwards, he fights for Bellator now. And he's my strength and conditioning coach as well, and a training partner of mine. So overall, Adley Edwards is my number one. But if we're talking whole game, I just casually watching as a fan, Alisani and Max Holloway.
Max Holloway. Okay. Just want to give another shout out to one of the amazing sponsors here. So shout out to Mountaineer Comic Con. So if you're familiar with in the Ranger community, you would know Mountaineer Comic Con's owner through Legendary Props. He also owns Legendary Conventions, which is where he posts all of his conventions that he's doing. Mountaineer Comic Con had their first convention back in September, and they had over 5,000 attendees for a first year. That is really good. In my opinion, because I've been doing it since like 2016. But they're actually gearing up to do a second year. So if you want to stay up to date on all of those, follow the link right there. It's mountaineercomiccon.com. So yeah. You kind of answered this question, but I'm going to change it up. Who's your favorite present day wrestler? Like who would you say your favorite wrestler would be right now?
Right now, so to change it up from Danielson and Moxley, I love watching Mike Bailey. If you haven't seen Mike Bailey, he's got some mean kicks. He's a Taekwondo black belt. He's been wrestling a Game Changer a lot. He wrestles in Impact now. I saw him wrestle over WrestleMania weekend, and I met him. And it's kind of thing like I'm definitely open to. But I'm looking back, and I'm like, yeah, I met him. And I wrestled him, X amount of time later. So love watching Mike Bailey. But Danielson, honestly, those are kind of like my must-watches. Like I'll watch them wrestle furniture. I don't care. Like I'll watch them wrestle anybody. And Malachi Black too. Malachi Black, all the same story with him. Like I met him at WrestleCade, and he's definitely a reason. Like Mike Bailey, I found more recently. Malachi is definitely a guy though who I watched wrestle, and I was like, oh, he's like just a cool kickboxer. Like, I could do that. Like a style that's like my style, like not trying to copy his style, but like making it my own.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, so I could like blend these worlds, and that's what I've been doing. Like wrestling's just been this cool live action stunt show that I have, basically, where I'm doing Muay Thai stuff, I'm doing wrestling stuff, I'm doing MMA stuff, I'm blending it. Seems like people are liking it.
Yeah, like it's kind of so like a lot more of what people, because like New Japan Pro Wrestling is really really popular, and that's basically that. It's not exactly the same as Japanese strong style, but like it's kind of similar because there's more striking and some technical stuff. But it's like that is probably one of those styles that is very, very popular. So, like, because I actually started watching Malachi when he was still wrestling under the moniker Tommy End. So, like, I was watching a lot of his matches, and then when I'd heard he had signed with WWE, but I'm like, no, I don't think he would, like, not trying to say, like, he was bad, but I was like, with his style and his look, he wasn't the typical WWE prospect. And then I was watching the United Kingdom tournament when they were debuting the United Kingdom Championship or whatever. I can't remember what it's called right now because it's not United Kingdom Championship. It's the it's oh my lord. It's the title that Pete Dunne had, Tyler Bate, Gunther.
NXT?
Yeah, it's on the NXT UK brand.
It's not the NXT.
No, it's the UK brand.
About it too. I can't remember.
Yeah, and like so I watched that pay-per-view when they were crowning the inaugural champion, and one of the matches it was him and I believe it was Pac when he was still wrestling under Adrian Neville. I watched that match and I saw him come out. I'm like, I was like, is that? And they said Tommy End. I'm like, oh, he actually signed with WWE. You know, he went to NXT first, but like that was one of my mark out moments. Like I would have to say like I popped so hard when them two went face to face because it's like, you know, I didn't think I'd see Tommy End in, and I was like, oh, they'll probably, if they do bring him in, they're gonna change his name. But when we first see him, he got to wrestle as Tommy End before he changed over to Aleister Black. So I thought that's
dope, dude.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. Like that was one of the guys that I started, like when I got back into watching wrestling, that I got into. Like it was him and Prince Devitt, aka Finn Balor.
Yeah.
Like those are the two people that got me back into wrestling because it's like looking at him at the time, it's like, you know, Finn Balor is like not a very big guy, like, and just to see what he was doing in New Japan, like I loved the original incarnation of Bullet Club. I still love Bullet Club to this day. So I've been watching the ride since they debuted in 2013, and to see like where they've come now, it's like it's crazy to think of.
Nice.
Yeah.
Speaking of Bullet Club, Chris Bay gave a seminar at Firestar recently. That was great. He was a very cool guy.
Who did he end up wrestling that on the show?
Eli. What's his last name? I'm about to find it right now. I was just looking at it. Eli Knight, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, he gave a great seminar. Half of it was just about like networking and like the business side of things, how to progress in wrestling. Like honestly, stuff that was way better than like, all right, here's how to do this hammerlock the way, you know, like it was stuff that just like stuff like always like have a credit card for your merch so you don't have to run out.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. That's why I have 60 shirts in my trunk right now. Just like, I don't want to run out all these.
So now before we end this, before I ask you your last question, speaking of Firestar, they are actually this month on June the 18th and June the 19th. They're doing a 2-night show to bring in their 10-year anniversary. Some of the cards for night 1 is going to be Alexander Moss versus Macalicious Hang for the Firestar Pro Wrestling Championship. We'll also have OMG James Ryan taking on TDT, and then the headline for the second night is going to be Jackson Drake taking on Duke O'Connor for the Southeastern Championship. We've got Griff Garrison versus Oliver Sawyer, and then we also have
AEW superstar Griff Garrison.
yeah. Oh, AEW superstar Griff Garrison. My bad. Thank you for that.
That's a pretty sweet one.
That's gonna be.
I can't remember what happened. Like Oliver called Griff out on Facebook, or like somebody tagged Oliver. It was like face Griff or something, but it was the power of the internet that made this possible. And then Oliver called him out on a show, and here we are. He's going to face an AEW superstar. Oliver just faced Davey Richards too.
Yeah, that was a banger of a match. If y'all like.
Yeah, him versus Davey Richards is a great match. Davey Richards also gave an awesome seminar.
Yeah,
he was very cool.
Just and like looking at some of the names that have like come down to Firestar is like it's pretty cool. And then
Jay Lethal twice, Dax Harwood gave a seminar, and then bought us all pizza and beer. Watched Bret Hart matches with us. Jay Lethal was there for like 12 hours.
Yeah,
tons of cool people.
Which Jay Lethal Jay Lethal actually went up against LeBron Cozone, which was that was another amazing match.
And Jay also wrestled Alexander Moss on Dark, AEW Dark.
Yeah, that is right. I forgot about that one. Yeah. And then
LeBron wrestled Kazarian.
Yeah, that I'm still trying to find that match, but like from what I could see, like it was.
It's on. I can't remember. It's on Amira. Amira at the school. She wrestled Ty Conti on that show as well.
Oh wow, really?
And Tim might have been on there as well. That was the show. It was at PNC. There was a show at PNC and then a show at Greensboro and then a show. They did Battle of the Belts at Charlotte, and it was like sometime around those last year. But yeah, the main events: LeBron and AEW star Marcus Cross versus Jay Malika and
Elias AK-47. So that's
really Elias AK-47.
Yeah.
Who just joined as Jay Malika.
So that's a quick little rundown of this next the next match, which will be actually here in Greensboro. So if you're from North Carolina, get your tickets. Like they're gonna be an amazing show. And who knows?
10-year anniversary. There's a ton of indie shows that
don't even make it that long.
You see at the first Firestar show, 2012, Cedric Alexander versus Hangman Adam Page.
Yeah, that I saw that, and then and then who else was it? They had Bobby Lashley in there. I think he was.
Really?
Yeah, they had Bobby Lashley in there one year, and I think he was Impact World Champion at the time. And he was in a program with the guy, so he made 2 shows. Wow. Yeah, I think he made 2 shows back to back.
I mean, even just 2017 or 18, Austin Theory was a 2-time champion.
Yeah. So
before he went to NXT.
Yeah, it's crazy to think looking at him in 2017 to now, being in Firestar, and then going to NXT, and now being on the main roster as a United States champion. They've put out they've had some really great talent here. They've put out some really amazing talent. I can't say enough about Firestar and just the mindset LeBron has, and seeing some of the people that have come through and seeing where they're at now. It can be done. You can be in a small little area and make it big. It's possible. So now,
and I mean that's one thing that I'm seeing, because Hangman, Dax Harwood, Cash Wheeler, people like that. I mean, they were up on a lot of these same promotions, and I'm starting to get booked at, and of course, anywhere they wrestled one time, they were former superstar here, But Hangman, he wrestled for Firestar a few times. SCWA, I was just at a tournament, and they were he won the first one of these. So, I mean, you literally see, these people just like a band before they get big or things like that. I mean, these people are in the same spot as you. You just never know who on the scene is going to gonna blow up and be that superstar one day.
Exactly. Like, who knows? You guys can look back at this interview 10 years from now and see that I got Bobby on here, and then you can see him. Who knows? Maybe 5, maybe sooner, on TV, and y'all can be like, well, we got to hear from Bobby on here, and it's cool to see where he's at now. Like, it's one of them things to where, like, you never know. You could be talking to the next freaking Finn Balor, the next whoever, but it's also the next Bobby Wasabi. There's never going to be another one like it.
That's the plan, brother.
And then, so just to kind of end this out a little bit, the last question I got for you: if you could wrestle any past, present, or future star, who would it be and why?
Oh man. Okay, I guess it would probably have to be Stone Cold, which Kevin Owens, he realized that dream. I don't know though. I mean, I guess if I had a chance, if we're in this alternate reality where I can bring wrestlers back from the dead, and that's just me. I don't know. Like, should I wrestle like Bruno San Martino or something? No, I think it still have to be Stone Cold. He'd just be, that OG, the one that I have to get in there with. And if we want to count if you want to say active wrestlers now, which, he just had a match a few months ago, so you could say Stone Cold's active. But I think having a match with Punk would be cool. Stylistically, Bryan Danielson, I think would be badass. I think me and John Moxley had a badass match. Mike Bailey, Malachi Black, the CM Punk would be, like, Punk and Austin are probably people from, like, when I was younger, but I'd be like, all right, I made it from wrestling with these dudes,
Yeah. Now that I could see you and Punk putting on a banger of a match, or Bryan Danielson or Moxley. Like, that'd be one of those things that were like your guys' styles clash really well, and it'd be a good matchup in my opinion. Like, that'd be the one thing that I think would be cool to see, But I'm gonna. So, is there anything else you want to say to the viewers here before we end out? Is there any place you want to plug where you're going to be going at next?
I did forget what the main challenger. I'm really got my eye on the Hook. I think me versus Hook would be a banger. I think that's one that people would want to see.
And Hook can go.
He's kind of talk to the town now, but I feel like my style matches up with him pretty well. I think that'd be something that people would want to see.
Yeah, and not a lot of people know this. This one's cool. He was a lacrosse player for his high school.
Really?
Yeah, because I was looking up a video on things you didn't know about Hook. He played lacrosse when he was in high school and a little bit in college.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
Right, you never know. Maybe one day his judo versus my Muay Thai. We'll see who wins out.
Ooh. There you go. That's a match that could take place. And so.
Yeah, before we go, I thank everybody for their support. Everybody that's listening to anything of mine, anybody that watches my matches, buys things, be shirts. Just trying to do my thing. I think I'm proof that you can just do whatever you set your mind to. Like I said, I was getting into things late. It's not like I'm definitely not like Jay Malachi or Jackson Drake. I don't have 5 years experience by the time I'm 18. But I'm making the most of it now and seem to be doing some things right. And at the very least, I know I can kick people really hard. And people seem to want to pay money to see that. So if you want to see that, come out and check me out.
So, all right, man. If you guys did miss this interview, this way you can also post this. Since I wasn't able to post it on YouTube or Facebook today, I'm going to be saving this recording, and I will be placing it on YouTube within the next couple days. So be on the lookout for that. And this way you can share this around if you want to. But thank you guys for tuning in. this was the third installment of A Day in the Life of. So thank you, Bobby, for being here, and looking forward to seeing you work more, man.
Much appreciated, man. And yeah, thank you again for having me on. I'll be seeing you around. Hope to see you soon.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna be at the shows next week. Like when I'm going out of town this weekend, and I'm letting work know I can't, because I'm gonna be at the 10 years. Like that's, I'm definitely gonna be there and to help out in any way I can. So yeah, but thank you guys, and Bobby, I'll see you later.
All right, catch you later, dude.
All right, gonna do this. So we are going to rate someone, guys. So if you give me a quick second, I already know who we're gonna do. We're gonna raid Mean Mug. Okay, why does that keep saying that? Let's go raid. So yeah, if you guys are a sub and you've got the raid emote, pull it out and let him know that that you came in with me, guys. And thank y'all for tuning in, and I will see you all next time.